Hi everybody, hope everybody is well. So this is the May update for my age domain case study. So managed to publish 20 articles in May, just under 30,000 words in total. So that's now brought the total number of articles to 128. Um, I did finally manage to get around to hiring a couple of new writers. So I actually use ProBlogger.com for this. So heard quite a lot about ProBlogger over the years, but I never really got a chance to test it out. So got a really good response rate. I got around 30 applications, just within a day or so of the job ad going live. I did do a Google's form for the application just to make it a bit more custom than the default setting that you get on ProBlogger. So I set up a few fields on the Google form, just things like where are you based? Are you a native English speaker? What experience do you have within a niche? Can you provide some content examples? And what sort of word count can you deliver per week? I think that's quite important as well. Um, so I managed to filter it down to four writers, and I sent each of them like a paid test article. So for anybody that's interested, the rate I'm paying is 5 cents a word, which I think is quite a decent rate. I mean, it's about $50 per thousand words. I think that's decent enough. So out of the four trial articles, one of them came back, and it clearly wasn't written by somebody who was a native English speaker. So that person had obviously lied on the application and tried their luck. The article's all right, but I mean you can just tell by reading it that it's not written by a native English speaker. So I'm still going to keep the article, but I'm going to have to do a bit of light editing on it as well, before I publish it. Um, the other writer came back to me with, what initially I thought it looked like a really good article, but then then I run it through Copyscape, and yeah, it got quite a high plagiarism score on Copyscape. So I dug into it a little bit deeper, and it basically looked like they just pretty much copied a competitor's article, not word for word, but pretty much they've just reworded an article that's already done. So I obviously don't want that kind of content. So that got me down to two. Um, but both of the two seem to be really good. So they're both full time within the niche. So they've got a lot of experience, and they're really really good writers. So where they're both full time within the niche, they can really put together a quality article, and they can put a lot of um, relatable stuff in the article as well. When they've been in what they've done when they've been in this particular situation, and it just makes for a much better and quality article. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with them. Um, one of them does have more availability than the other, so I've kind of split it, like 70-30, between them both. And I've obviously still got my main writer there as well, but I'm going to shift them over to other sites. I think I don't think I need more than two writers working on this project at the moment. So the goal still very much the same. So still want to get to 200 articles published as quickly as possible, and then just really review the situation from there. I'm obviously looking to see some traction right before I push it beyond the 200 article mark. Um, a few of the domain stats have increased, so the domain authority went up slightly, as did the DR. For Search Console, It's still, it's still on this kind of gradual increase. It's heading in the right direction. I would like this to be more, more aggressive in terms of growth, but look, it's heading in the right direction, and it's still quite early days. Um, Indexing, so new articles continue to be indexed okay, so there's no problems there, which is good. Google Analytics. I've changed the format a little bit. So previously, I was just showing user count from January to date. So I've changed it to this format, which I think I'll use going forward. So just like a month on month comparison. Um, there isn't too much to see. I mean, where the traffic's still, it's still pretty flat, like slow, very slow kind of growth here at the moment. I've also got a couple of these kind of random days where it's got a random jump in bot traffic. So had one here. There was also another one yesterday where it was reporting like 700 users. And again, majority of that is bot related. So at the moment, it doesn't really paint a great picture. But I think as the months go on, there'll be, this should paint a much better picture. There'll be some more data and hopefully a nice growing trend here going forwards. Ahrefs. So this is the data for last month versus this month. So you can see the DR has increased slightly. Um, the organic traffic has increased quite nicely. I'm not really sure if this is also kind of factoring in some of that bot traffic, but I mean, this should just be organic traffic. But but for now, I'm going to take that as a win. You've got to take all of these small, all of these small wins that you can. Um, Organic keywords has increased slightly, which is positive. I think the most positive thing here is probably this part. So obviously tracking top 20 position. So last month we had just under 300, and this month it's just under 2,000. So that's that is a good sign for me. I will move away from top 20. I will change this to top 10 going forwards. But where it's still quite early stages, I just want to keep a kind of overall picture that it's moving in the right direction. And I think top 20 is better really for now. And it's also, just to keep as many of these small wins as possible, just to keep me motivated. P&L wise, there's not too much here really. I mean, the only thing we're going to see is just this content cost is ultimately just going to keep increasing month on month until we get to the 200 article mark. Um, there's really a lack of Amazon related articles. There's only a handful in there, so I'm not expecting too much from there. Obviously, don't have any ads on the site yet. I really just don't see the point until it starts to get some decent traction. Um, we're obviously, approaching or getting a lot closer to the 20k mark. I mean, definitely going to exceed that. We've got another 70 odd articles to add to the site, so it's definitely going to exceed the 20k mark. Um, of course, a lot of the cost here is really associated with the fact that we bought a age domain and 150,000 words of content from an agency, aka Niche Website Builders. Um, I'm still, a kind of little bit confused as to what to expect. I know I touched on this a little bit in last month's update. So this is obviously the first time I've done a expired or age domain project, and I'm obviously used to setting up a site with a fresh domain, and the expectation there is always it's going to take at least 12 months plus really to start seeing some traction. Um, but I'm not sure what to expect on an age domain. Like for example, this batch here, 42 articles, this was the first batch that Niche Website Builders had published. So, we're now approaching the kind of 6 month mark here. So honestly, I was expecting to see more traction at this point. Um, I don't know if that content just needs more time or if the content hasn't hit the mark. I don't know, but time will tell. But with all of these things, I think this is probably one of the biggest challenges if you're doing a niche site project. Is it usually takes a lot longer than what you expect. Um, but I think it does vary because I know like Carl Broadbent has obviously done an age domain project for Gardenia, and that's seen very fast traction, but every site's different. So I think I've just got to be patient, keep motivated, keep publishing content, and just wait it out. Um, it could be worse. I could have put the 17,500 into like Dogecoin or something like that. But no, joking aside, I mean, I think realistically, um, I think if we get to the end of the year, like if we get to December and it hasn't really seen that hockey stick growth, I will start to get a little bit worried then if that's the case. But honestly, looking at like Ahrefs for example, you can see that it is ranking for keywords. There is keywords in the top 20, and I think it really just needs more time. So I'm not going to worry about it until we get to the end of the year. Um, if we do get to that point, then I obviously do. I've got a couple of ideas of what to do. I think the first step will be just to revisit the content. So I'll pull reports from Google Analytics and kind of dig into every article just to see if maybe some of the initial content hasn't hit the mark or I need to make a few changes. I think real worst case scenario, I can always just move it over to another fresh domain and just redirect everything. So there's a few options there, but I mean, look, I'm not massively worried. I'm pretty confident that it's going to do well. It just needs a bit more time. So I think it's just all about staying positive and just keep putting content out there. Really, um, I think that's pretty much it. So thanks to everybody who has subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, really appreciate it if you do, and if you can also hit the like button just so that the case study gets out to as many people as possible. Thanks everyone.